Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, PEBIC, intensifies advocacy for ministries, departments and agencies. Nigerian Revenue Service introduces unified tax ID system for all taxable persons in Nigeria. Elon Musk loses case over OpenAI's future. Plus, oil prices fall 2% after Trump pauses planned Iran strike. And our guest on the program today is Dr. Chris Ndibe, Free Zone and Communications expert and CEO of CARCON, as we bring the free trade zones into focus. This is Business Express, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Nneka Oku, your navigator through today's business world. The Nigerian Revenue Service (NRS) has unveiled a new taxpayer identification tax ID system for all taxable persons across the country as part of efforts to strengthen tax administration and improve transparency. The NRS announced the development in a public notice issued jointly with the Joint Revenue Board (JRB) and posted on its official X handle on Monday. The notice says the initiative is backed by sections 6, 7 and 8 of the Nigeria Tax Administration Act 2025, which mandate every taxable person in Nigeria to obtain a tax ID. It added that the tax ID will serve as a single unified identity for all taxpayers, enabling seamless interaction with tax administration or authorities at both federal and sub-national levels. The NRS said the new framework is designed to create a centralized and harmonized taxpayer database that would enhance interactions between taxpayers and revenue authorities at both federal and sub-national levels. The Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, PEBIC, is intensifying advocacy for ministries, departments and agencies of government to deploy digital systems that enables government to deliver faster, more inclusive and citizen-centric services for economic growth. This was at a retreat for heads of MDAs focused on integrating government business, advancing digital governance, accountability, and efficient service delivery across MDAs. They agree that Nigeria cannot afford to remain constrained by analog service delivery structures that limit productivity and weaken investor confidence.
And we have all agreed that that is the way forward. Next steps would be building that bridge, creating those platforms that help our MDAs integrate.
We believe that there could be 60% of cost savings across different MDAs and across the government, and those savings can be passed on to citizens. They can also be leveraged for capital expenditure for the country.
We are opportune to train 100,000 young Nigerians free of charge on artificial intelligence and 30,000 SMEs on AI for SMEs.
Digital transformation systems and processes that have made PENCON to be customer-centric and achieve the high score of 120% in the PEBIC evaluation.
PEBIC is an enabler, and what it's done essentially is to have placed us at that pedestal where we can no longer go down.
We make the data sharing, data interoperability to work effectively for the development of our country.
Elon Musk, the world's richest man, has lost another lawsuit in court, having recorded a string of legal defeats or settlements. He lost on Monday in his lawsuit against OpenAI and its co-founder Sam Altman. A U.S. jury on Monday ruled against Elon Musk in his lawsuit against OpenAI, finding the artificial intelligence company not liable to the world's richest person for having allegedly strayed from its original mission to benefit humanity. In a unanimous verdict, the jury in Oakland, California Federal Court said Musk brought his case too late. The jury deliberated less than 2 hours. Now that he has lost his high-profile lawsuit against OpenAI, is it possible that Musk will be less prone to picking fights? Well, that is the question many are asking. Moving on, as Nigeria marks the Open Governance Partnership Week 2026, civil society groups are calling on governments to demonstrate renewed commitment to open governance reforms by signing the Open National Action Plan 4 and begin implementation of commitments in addition to providing adequate funding for the OGP process and related reform activities in Nigeria. The Open Governance Week is a global initiative aimed at securing concrete commitments from governments to promote transparency, empower citizens, and fight corruption. Stakeholders believe open government reforms must go beyond policy declarations and translate into concrete actions that improve transparency, public accountability, service delivery, and citizen confidence in government institutions.
As development partners, civil society organizations, and citizens to use the opportunity of the OGP Week 2026 to recommit to advancing an open, accountable, and participatory governance system in Nigeria.
We are particularly concerned that despite the importance of the OGP process in strengthening democratic governance, many commitments contained in previous national action plans have either witnessed partial implementation or suffered delays due to lack of sustained political will and inadequate resource allocation.
Open Government Partnership in July 2016 and committed to enhancing transparency, accountability, citizen participation, and improved public service delivery. Nigeria has developed and implemented 3 national action plans. It is often said that nations are transformed not by the mere abundance of natural resources or capital, but by the power of transformative ideas. In an era where the African Continental Free Trade Area AfCFTA is rewriting the rules of intra-African commerce, Nigeria stands at a critical crossroads. How do we unlock true industrialization, hypercharge export competitiveness, and move from economic potential to actual economic dominance? The answer might just lie in how we rethink, reshape, and reimagine our free trade zones. To help us dissect this today, we are joined in the studio by a man who has lived and breathed the architecture of Nigeria's Free Zones Administration. He is a veteran player in the sector and the author of 2 compelling new books, Reimagining Free Zones in Nigeria and Accelerating Growing Economies Through Free Trade Zones. In the studio is Dr. Chris Ndibe. It is an absolute pleasure to have you with us on Business Express.
My pleasure too. Thank you.
So to start with, some Nigerians might be hearing about the free trade zones for the first time. Can you walk us through what these zones are, what happens there, and what benefit they are to the Nigerian economy?
First of all, let us understand what Nigerian free zone, what free zone is all about. A free zone is an enclave, an instrument designed within a country where production goods are packaged, processed, assembled, ready for export. It could be you could allow some percentage of export within the country, but most of the times we arrange a particular area for export manufacturing, services, and other things. So it's normally a strategic enclave designed for that.
All right, in your book, Reimagining Free Zones in Nigeria, you call for a rethink of the philosophy and governance of free zones. What inspired that argument or thought?
What I mean by rethinking the philosophy is that the idea is fine, but the implementation is where we're getting it wrong. At the stage where we created something as noble as a free zone, but you see, the interpretation is always a very big issue. In Nigeria today, we look at it as an administrative enclave instead of looking at it as a dynamic, productive enclave, which is supposed to aid Nigeria to join the class of industrialized nations. Until we start seeing it from that angle, interpreting it as just an enclave, an administrative enclave where people come to stay and all these things, we'll be getting it wrong.
So how would you assess the overall performance of Nigeria's free trade zone so far in terms of exports, industrialization, and job creation?
Yes, we are doing well, but we are not there yet. That is what I will say. Because a lot of things are still missing. The policy is okay, but the policy we are operating today is outdated. I will have to say that. This is a policy that came on, it came out in 1992. So 30-something years after, we're still operating it. It's not done that way. All over the world, a Free Zone Act should be reviewed and revisited at least 5 to 10 years. Highest 10 years. Because this is a dynamic thing. It's dealing with people, it's dealing with the world. You cannot just go there and be static. And it's affecting us. The misinterpretation is also making the operation to be faulty. Also, the coordination with government agencies, the customs and other government agencies are looking at free zone as a place where government lose money or revenue, which is not correct. It behoves on all of us to educate those who don't know what what free zone is all about. That what free zone stands to give to the country is more than revenue.
Yeah, but then the government offers attractive incentives in these zones, such as duty-free importation of equipment and raw materials, tax holidays, and even ease of repatriation of profits. How effective have these measures been in attracting both local and foreign investors, especially in the light of recent tax reforms?
Yeah, the incentive that was stated in decree is okay, in the act is all right, but I tell you that the operation, the implementation is still wrong because the customer are not seeing it the way it should. And again, within the system itself, the monitoring and evaluation is not being done rightly. Because M&E is one aspect that government agencies should implement, and at the end of the day, you find out that you will know a lot of people who don't know what they are doing, that they are doing wrongly, will be corrected, will be put online. So, in a situation where maybe the ministry and the agencies, the regulatory agencies, are not doing the right monitoring and evaluation, it also is also a way of getting it wrong. But I tell you that the country that we are, Nigeria, has everything that it takes to be first in the continent in terms of free zone operation.
All right. Many observers also point to issues like infrastructure deficit, especially around ports and power, as well as the need for more operational zones out of the licensed ones. What are the major challenges, in addition to the ones you have highlighted, currently facing free trade zones in Nigeria, and how can we address them? Emphasis should be on how we can address them.
Yeah, we can address them by government putting mind into. Free zone is not created anywhere in the world out in affluence. It is trying to make up for what we don't have. I want to take the logistic aspect. If you don't address the logistics aspect of free zone operation, then you are getting it wrong. And because in a situation where you produce something in Calabar Free Trade Zone and you have to go by road, the kind of road we have in the country, to Port Harcourt or to Lagos to get it out of the country, it's wrong. It's wrong. The Calabar port should have been dredged all this while and given easy movement, because siting a free zone is either close to an airport or a seaport, or both. There are a lot of our free zones that have these things, but the ports are not functional. What I would say that it is for government to know that this is a noble system. This is a system that can turn around the economy of the country. And so give attention to whatever should, the port operations should be given attention, and everything, our roads. In fact, I use Calabar as an example. For you to come out of Calabar to Dupani area, I mean, you have to go on 12 hours prayer. So the roads are not good. Rails should have been put into all free zones so that they can take goods at least to the nearest port. That will assist.
All right, let's talk about the AFCFTA. With it opening up a much larger single market for more made in Nigeria goods, how can our free trade zones better help us export more value-added products, move beyond primary commodities, and truly strengthen economic diversification?
In fact, I would say that some of us who are within the free zone industry is crying since Nigeria became a signatory to the AFTA, because the idea is that you now have the opportunity to produce and go to other countries. But I tell you that the way we are going, Nigeria will end up being a dumping ground for other countries. The policy inconsistent is affecting investors coming in. And we have already about 50 free zones in Nigeria, but I tell you that those in operation is not up to 20. And even the 20 are not having it smooth. I have been beckoning on the ministry and the regulatory authorities and all these things to come together and see what to do. Because if we don't do what we are supposed to do now, I bet you that we will be at a disadvantage with this African Continental Free Trade area that is established, which Nigeria is a signatory to. If we do what we are supposed to do, we will lead other countries, at least in Africa. We have all it takes. We have the raw materials, we have the human resources, we have everything that can take us to producing and getting our trade balances with other countries.
Lastly, let's have your view on what institutional reforms are most urgently needed to make free zones more effective. Very briefly, sir.
First of all, the law. The law that we are operating today is not. Secondly, education. We have to educate the staff, the operators, and the general public to buy in to what free zone is all about. So at the end of the day, you promote this scheme and make other government agencies to understand that a free zone is different from a factory in an industrial area in Kogi or Abuja and all these things. What we are doing is special. The way we operate is special. And so I encourage public enlightenment first, because when the public understands what the scheme is all about, they will buy into it and everybody will act towards it. The government will be forced to do what they are supposed to do. And I bet you that if government do what they are supposed to do, this government will take a different form in near future.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chris Ndibe, for sharing your thoughts with us on the current state of Nigeria's free trade zones and way forward.
Thank you very much for having me.
Talking energy now, the Dangote Petroleum Refinery has reduced the ex-depot price of aviation fuel, known as Jet A1, from 1,750 naira to 1,650 naira per litre. The refinery disclosed this in a statement describing the move as part of broader efforts to ease operational pressures on airline operators and ensure stable fuel supply across the country. This comes at a time when rising aviation fuel costs continue to strain Nigeria's airline industry and push up ticket prices. Meanwhile, oil prices dropped in early trade on Tuesday after President Trump said he had paused a planned military strike on Iran to allow negotiations to continue. Brent front month futures were trading at $109.70 per barrel early Tuesday morning, down to 0.11%, while West Texas Intermediate front month futures were changing hands at $102.80, down 1.55%. The decline comes after oil prices surged on Monday due to drone strikes on the UAE and Saudi Arabia after the Trump X1 summit had failed to produce any breakthrough on reopening the Strait of Hormuz. In a social media post on Monday afternoon, Trump claimed that the planned attacks on Iran had been postponed at the request of the leaders of Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE. Let's move attention away from energy to other commodities. How are other items trading? Let's see. Global shares started on shaky footing this Tuesday, and bonds steadied following a steep sell-off after U.S. President Donald Trump paused a planned attack on Iran. That's all for this morning's edition of Business Express. Don't forget to visit the NTA YouTube channel for past episodes. And join us again tomorrow at 3 p.m. I am Nneka Oko. Have a great day.